Boom. Battlerap, hold it down, got the crown. Yo, when I tell y'all about a month and a half ago, I saw the thumbnail with Street Hymns, Sistar Outspoken, I immediately got hype. It was like a couple weeks after they battled. Sistar Outspoken 2-1, by the way. I got hype. Know what I mean? Because I knew something was fitting to go down. You know what I'm talking about? So let's get to it. How do they mix battle rap, faith, and relationships? I'm ready to learn. I got my notepad and pen. I'm serious about this. Let's go.
My friends say, man, you're a quote unquote friend of sinners. And I was like, man, interesting, you know?
That's
and
funny.
It's the title that Jesus was, you know what I'm saying, a friend of sinners.
Hello and welcome to the JUDE 3 Project's new series, From People to...
Definitely, we gotta skip this. Like, we ain't gotta go through the whole story. Go do like an introduction video. Like, you're not listening.
Conversations encourage not only civility, but lasting change.
What's up, everybody? We're back from People to Person. This time we have both of our panelists with us. We have Street Hymns and Sistar joining us back. I know y'all have enjoyed their conversation individually. The reason I found out about them together was because they have a battle rap. I had met Street Hymns at an event in Cali, and he was telling me about a battle rap he had coming up.
If you haven't already watched that video, you don't even gotta watch my reaction. Go to West Coast Elites, watch Street Hymns versus Sistar Outspoken. Dope battle, all 3 rounds from both. Trust me, fire battle, bruh. Fire.
And I was like, do y'all like talk outside of the battle? Like, I was like, I know y'all battling, and he was talking about the different theologies and beliefs. And
We trash talked beforehand.
Yeah, it was a nice
It wasn't like trash talk.
Yeah, this was the most interesting trash talk I've done leading to a battle. Like it was like, I'm not gonna say borderline cheesy, but it wasn't. Like we were competing on doing stuff in the community and stuff like that, like just being different. It was definitely an enjoyable experience.
yeah. So I was like, do y'all talk? Because, you know, I'm big on conversations, more conversations, less debates. And so I was like, I understand battle rap culture obviously is kind of the debate. But I was like, do y'all actually sit down and just talk about like the differences? And he was like, well, not really. But he did say y'all had got an opportunity to chat after, kind of build relationship. So I thought it'd be good to bring y'all on. I know y'all talked, but when I asked him about talking, I was like, on camera. And he was like, oh, that'd be dope. So here we are.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So y'all did a battle. How was that?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great.
It's definitely one that, due to like from public opinion, it's definitely a classic, you know. So I love being able to go on to battles, finish battles, and then there isn't really like anybody cares that there's a winner or loser.
Yeah, they're really
It's
not
just
talking
like,
about that.
yeah,
They love the back and forth and the routes that we took in the battle with our content. So yeah, that makes it a very purposeful, you know.
Now, I know y'all battle was about kind of y'all beliefs at some part.
Low key remind me of B Dot and Danny Myers, or like B Dot and Loso, kind of. Like in that round to where it don't really matter who won, but because I'm old school, like I gotta have a winner. Like, but yeah, like that battle, like it's just a dope like conversation. Like they said, like not really. You can say it's a debate, but it's just a dope conversation and see different perspectives of how they feel, what they think of each other, of themselves, of the world. Like, I'll tell y'all, you gotta watch that battle, bro. Street Hymns versus Sistar Outspoken.
Of it, not the whole thing, but y'all did have moments where y'all had different ideologies and beliefs. How did that go?
Yeah. So for me personally, from the aspect of beliefs, I didn't have a personal conversation with her, so I didn't even want to like assume beliefs per se, but based off of her audience and then some of the things that she would say publicly, I was like, okay,
It might
cool.
be that battle.
Yeah, it was that.
It might be that battle. Like
Yeah.
give you a, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, it was like I kind of took a generalization of.
Gotta watch the Sistar Outspoken beat out battle. It was like a battle / bridal shower / proposal / like it was crazy, bro. It was crazy.
You know, a culture, and then from that addressed beliefs of the culture. But it really wasn't like intended to be, hey, everyone, by the way, she believes this, and this. Kind of like what people do with like even battling Christians. You know, like it's not really you're sitting there battling that person per se. You're either mad at God or arguing with God or, you know, portraying things. And so I was like, okay, what does that look like on the other front of that? Because typically Christian battle rappers are always on the defense. And I was like, what would it be to actually flip that role real quick, you know? And so my purpose was like more so flip the role and then give people something to talk about afterwards, you know, and just put information that people probably weren't even aware of or just some conversation starter. So for me, it wasn't solely on beliefs, but more so the system. So,
What are your
I
thoughts
think
on
that it definitely was still a conversation, but maybe not the conversation people expected us to have. Because they expected us to just go back and forth and talk about Christianity and Kemet or whatever and just kind of do that. And I took a different route. In my spirit,
You want my street hymns? You can take it. Definitely a different route.
like when I just saw his name, Street Hymns, I wanted to tell some of my street hymns. And I wanted to, and what I did was I gave examples of lessons that I learned and how that's spiritual for me in the midst of my street hymns. And I talked about the system and some problems.
it's fire.
What he did was fire too. He has a phenomenal flow too. Like it was great. But and I talked about some of the systematic issues that we're having in the Black community that leads to some of the problems and things that I've experienced. And then so I took that and then made it to the goal of we shouldn't be conflicted. You know, like we need to be looking at our likeliness because I'm so tired of war. So that was my goal. And I knew he wasn't gonna expect that.
What was the joint? There's a difference between reading the book and
oh yeah, I said
Writing the book. No, I'm writing the book. You just read and you just reading them. Something like that. I don't know. It's been a minute. Yo, I really wish like, you know, like your Daylight's probably like the only one that like really breaks down his battles. He does like 2-hour long blogs about it to where you can barely understand what he's saying. But like, I really wish like the real like substance type battlers like your B-Dots, your B-Dots, your Daylights, your Danny Myers, people that have substance in their battles, broke it down or like had a conversation, kind of like what they're doing right now, to where they kind of talk about the battle and what the goal was, things of that nature. Most people I don't think that people really do that for real. But then again, it kind of takes the fun out of it if they break down the whole thing. So I'm kind of conflicted actually, because you just tell me everything that you say. It takes the fun out of me trying to find the treasure of all the gems you're trying to put in there. So I don't know. Lux definitely for sure. I wish you would do that at least one battle.
yeah, I said, this is not faith and spirit versus seeing them. This is those just living life, leaving books behind versus those just reading them.
just reading them.
That's
I was like, that was fire. Okay, I was like, indeed. Because I could tell like it was more so tracing into the source of like, yo, which I got from that was don't just make all truth come from one source. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, don't just make all truth come from what people told you to read.
Okay,
You know,
for sure.
Live your life and learn the lessons. And like you talk about a lot, application. You know, and through application, you create your own parables. And that to me is spirituality. So that was what that was about. And then I dropped the book too, so it was a double
Indeed. Yeah. By the way, purchase my book. Yeah, indeed. Fire.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything from Street Hymns, from relationship with him, conversations after about things he was passionate about, his beliefs and vice versa?
Yeah, that was my first time meeting someone and them explaining to me the difference between being Hebrew and being a Hebrew Israelite. Like, because as soon as he said Hebrew, like he said in his interview, your mind strictly goes there, you know? So that's where my mind went.
You definitely watched the interview, Street Hymns, both their interviews. They got solo interviews before this. Definitely watched both Street Hymns and Sistar Outspoken interviews before that. But yeah, I didn't even know about being a Hebrew Israelite. I didn't know nothing about that. So yeah, definitely a lot of gems in that one with Street Hymns.
He was like explaining it to me, and we had a really good conversation. And was able to come to certain understandings. And I like that he's so intelligent and so vast and not in a box, because the terms that he utilizes and the way that we're able to communicate, not in anger or emotion, but openly and understandingly, we were breaking down certain terms and how certain terms you look at differently, and that creates the conversation. You know, and people have to learn how to communicate in that way, because people speak different spiritual languages. You could be talking about the same thing and don't even know it, because of what your data is programmed to think when you hear a certain word. And now you way over there when really y'all was right here, you know? So I appreciated that with him, because I haven't been able to do that with too many people. You know, like most people are just like, and it's like, so it puts you on, but we were like,
flowing.
Yeah, and learning and just creating an understanding. So I appreciated that with him, that exchange.
Yeah, vice versa, I guess it was in related to what I would call the divine counsel. And because one thing that I was interested in, she did a battle, another classic with the dude named B-Dot. And B-Dot is another spiritual brother within the battle rap community, conscious. One of the guys who's literally one of the top guys, the competitors within the culture right now. Him and Loso actually have a great battle as well. Shout out to the Four Horsemen. But yeah, so I heard you call or address a deity as the Most High, right? I say it right.
But yeah,
okay,
that was good. You did good. You did good.
So I was like, okay, when I say Most High, I'm referring to Yahweh, and I was asking her, when you're using the term Most High, is this a person? Is it a being? Is it a deity? And so we basically had the discussion of what does that mean? You know, who is this? And you know what it may be, and of course, you know, for me it's Yahweh, you know, the Most High, and from what I got, it was the embodiment of all things unified, right? So yeah, that's kind of, and so yeah, we kind of just were discussing on that term. So because I didn't know, because like when I hear that, I'm like, oh, there's a deity she worships, right? You know, amongst others. Right, because when I was researching things in Kemet and things, I'm like, okay, so you have this god, this goddess, that goddess, and I'm like, okay, and then understanding that there are those in the Kemetic community who do individually worship certain deities or pray, but then there's others who just understand them to be concepts, you know, and then apply the concepts in the natural realm. So even me learning not to generalize the culture, you know. So that it was dope. The conversation was definitely fruitful, just to understand different types of perspectives, even within a camp community or group.
Yeah, that's extremely helpful, I think, for all of us to understand.
You know what's crazy? I don't think most battlers, respectfully, I don't think most battlers really delve that deep into people's beliefs or whatever. They just generalize everything, like with a B dot or a Loso or whatever. They just generalize Christianity. So they just say everything that's general about Christianity, or they generalize Kemet. So they don't delve like Street Hymns did just now. It's amazing to watch his mind go to trying to really research and study. I don't think study a different religion or belief or spirituality. I don't think most battlers really do that. That's why most battles be kind of because it's just the regular, oh, you Black Panther, you da da da, or you holier than thou, you're Christian, da da da. So that's why this battle is so dope. Once again, watch this battle because they really two different perspectives. Street Hymns more of a trying to break down her spirituality. Meanwhile, Sistar Outspoken is more of like combining her life with her spirituality, how she got to a certain point of where she is today. So it's definitely dope. So
Because, with JUDE 3 Project, we have kind of scholars that speak on different groups. And oftentimes when you're giving points to a group, there's not a lot of nuance sometimes on the spectrum within the group. And so you go into a conversation saying, this person believes this person believes that. And if I don't actively listen, I can put stuff on a person that's not there. And so it seems like what you're saying and what you're saying is like both in conversation, interaction, battle rap, conversation afterwards. Y'all got to see, okay, I know what this group claims to believe generally, but as I talk to you, I see like there's some differences and I need to address the differences and see you as a person. Because I think that's humanizing a person when I see them pass just some facts I learned about a group.
Yeah, and that is hip hop in itself. Hip hop knowledge was always a pillar of hip hop. That's the K in the SMAC URL. It's knowledge, and so when you see the battle, it's easy to get lost in the aggression and the vulgarities and the threats and things like this. But the culture outside of it, the discussions that are happening behind closed doors at the dinner table,
very fruitful.
You know what I'm saying? It's literally fruitful.
Fulfilling.
Exactly. And these are people who literally got to scream each other's necks right before, So it's a very family oriented culture.
Definitely, that's what I was about to say. It's exactly what it feels like. Like every event feels like a family reunion. Like the barbecue. Like that's what it feels like. And it's so many intelligent people in the battle rap community. And I don't think people understand how intelligent they have to be to continuously create what they create. And you have to even have a certain level of health, for your mind to work a certain way, for your body to be able to, the breath control and the everything. Like it's a lot that comes with that people are not knowing of, and the parking lot conversations will shock you.
I think that's helpful to know. I think I should have started here, but I think this will be helpful for our audience now. What is battle rap culture? Because I think we're talking about it and people don't know.
I want to see what they say.
Varies.
Battle rap, yeah.
It definitely
What
varies.
what is battle rap? Like, I didn't even know that was a thing.
It definitely is its own element of hip hop now. It is an evolution of its original state. Because, originally battle rap, they got mics or you over beats, anywhere, you at the park, on the corner, whatever, and it's freestyle. Well, in the YouTube era, it became more written. I mean, people do still freestyle, but it's set up more like, almost like boxing matches. You know your opponent ahead of time, you study game tapes, and you prepare, because this is gonna live forever. And because of that, it made people more intellectually right and take the the writing more serious. Some of the best writers in the world are battle rappers. True. Because they had to learn the science of writing. You had to get intricate. You had to learn assemblies and metaphors and double, triple, quadruple entendres and schemes.
Battle rappers are the best writers in hip hop. I'm telling you, battle rappers are the best writers. I think maybe period in music. And y'all can feel any type of way you want to about that, but like what battle rappers do, what we follow, what we nobody can tell me. I was about to go crazy on like Miley Cyrus for no reason. I was just about to. It's the first name. Like, man, Miley Cyrus and Justin Bieber can't write what we. But never mind. My bad. I started getting into my. Anyway, go ahead.
And all of these things while still the fundamental of rap. And it fused, in a sense, in its evolution process with comedy, with theater, with spoken word, and it became its own thing. And brings a vast fan base because of that, because people like different things, and it's there.
You gotta keynote that part. That was a perfect explanation.
Yeah, like, you need to be a spokesperson. Jesus, like you can't really even like you can't say that better.
That was legit. Like I'm gonna just clip that because that's great. That was perfect. That was perfect. That's it.
So I think this has been rich conversations we've had today individually. The church struggles with having these conversations because oftentimes when you're in a Christian, you get in a bubble and you're not forced outside of going to work to have conversations with people that think differently. However, y'all in the battle rap culture, and from what I'm understanding and gathering from the community, and y'all explain the community, you're constantly engaged in people with people who have different beliefs, and you describe it as a family. And that's hard for people to see because they go to Thanksgiving and they're like, we don't even bring up our different beliefs because that'll ruin Thanksgiving. Yeah. And so y'all live in a community where y'all have different beliefs, but y'all still have a family kind of vibe. So how do you do that? Because I think that's helpful to know.
That's a good question. Just you asking how do we do that? In the battle rap community, first and foremost, most of us have been around for years. So you get the opportunity to see people grow, see people develop, see people go through stuff. And when you become a person that's experiencing these people going through these processes, you become more open to the differences, you know? And I think what we need to like try to stick to as people in communicating is listening, not with the thought to judge and not with the thought to see the differences, but to see the likeliness. And it's the likeliness that makes us a family.
That's good.
Absolutely, yeah. I would definitely agree. My biggest message I would relate to the church, it was interesting. It shocked me to hear one of my friends say, man, you're a quote unquote friend of sinners. And I was like, man, interesting, you know?
That's funny.
It's a title that Jesus was, you know what I'm saying, a friend of sinners. And I was like, man, like, how is that not normal then? You know, it's like, well, most people that are in church, most Christians, only hang out with Christians, only group up with other Christians and believers. And I definitely see the logic behind it, but if we are the ecclesia, we are called to go out, you know? And
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I never understood that. It's like, yo, how will you ever, the goal is to reach one, teach one, right? So it's like I never understood that whole, you're supposed to be in this little box and all the Christians supposed to be over here, then all the Muslims supposed to be over here, then all the Israelites supposed to be over here, and they're like, bro, at the end of the day, it don't matter what God or entity you believe in. Like, all that should matter is, like, are you a good person? Like that's it. Like, are you a good person? Do you take care of your family? Do you take care of your friends? That's it. It shouldn't really matter if you have a different belief than me. I never understood that. Like, it don't matter. That's why I don't really get into, I never really understand religious debates for real. And you're never going to see me get in one because a belief is something, you can't force a belief on somebody. You have to have that. So I don't really understand religious beliefs, wars on religion. I never understood that because like you can't force a belief on somebody. They have to have that. So yeah, like man, religion. Oh man, I want to get. I want to do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, we all know it was this stuff is man-made. Most of it to control. So, but you gotta stop letting these things divide us. And just actually going to Sistar Outspoken's book real quick. Life Outspoken. Find your being first. Find your being, your be. Find your being first, and then everything else will shape itself. So look at everybody's being. Don't look at their religion. Don't look at their race. Don't look at their being first. But that's just my 2 cents before I had to put in my 2 cents before we got out of here. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
And so for me, my message to any group of persons or people, whether it's battle rap or whether it's modeling, whether it's social media, never judge a culture from the outside because you'll never understand it. You know, it's literally like going into somebody's household and telling them how to raise their kids. It's like you have no idea what goes on behind these doors. All you're seeing is an interaction right here. And what audacity do you have to even come in and tell me how to do things? In the same way, it's a culture. It's like, yo, we've developed a family, we've developed a culture here. And so when you're judging it from the outside, until you actually go and sympathize, empathize, cry, laugh, you know what I'm saying, sharing the joy with the people, you'll never understand it. And so for me, my message to the church will be, you know, to broaden the horizon of what you consider to be ministry and evangelism. You know, we can do more than just make posts on social media. We can actually go out and engage with people, meet them where they're at, have the conversations with the intent of listening and desiring to understand, like, man, like, not so much, oh, you believe something different. It's like, well, there's a reason you believe that. There's a cause and effect, you know, and I would like to know the cause and effect, because if you believe that, that means there's a million other yous that might believe the same thing. And so if that's the case, then we have to be able to be sensitive enough to understand that if there are a massive group of people believing in something, then we should be privy and studying up on what's going on, the why, the how, and how much like that we are as well, so we can relate, becoming all things to all men. You know, so yeah, I believe battle rap is a beautiful culture, and as challenging as it is, as vulgar as it is, as intense as it is, it's that much more on the other end, community as well.
That's dope. I think that's a good place to end it. I'm so glad you all joined me. Y'all came from far, Texas and LA, to sit here and chill, to talk about from people to person. I think this is going to be rich for our audience. And remember, we're having more conversations, less debates, and it's not about talking about, but it's about talking to. Until next time, grace and peace, and God bless.
Fire conversation. Didn't expect anything less. Yeah, man. I ain't here to preach to you or nothing like that. Just thought, there's no way. You should know me by now. If you're doing anything outside of battle rap, I'm going to support. I'm gonna try to find a way to support, man. We a community. That's what we do. It's what we do. You hear me? But that was Sistar Outspoken Street Hens on JUDE 3, I believe it's the channel. Put the link below. Definitely go watch those interviews. I'll put the link of the battle below. Definitely a dope battle. You can watch my reaction too. With that being said, you know I'm just a fan how to show more love. This is people I love better. I want the keyboard thugs. Better hold it down. Huh?